Well, hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Eek Acres. In this video, I wanted to talk about something that appears to be a crisis in this country, and that's with these young kids being able to afford a property of their own. And I'm talking about these kids today that are either in their late 20s, early 30s. And there has been a bunch of YouTubers sharing their TikTok content, one after another after another after another, of how these kids cannot afford a home today like their parents did 30, 40 years ago or whatever. And it's because I don't think that these kids today know how to search for a property and find deals, and or they just aren't looking in states where property is affordable versus where they live. Maybe they live in California. Maybe these kids live in New York City, where everything is high down in New York City. I'm going to give you guys a couple of examples, and I'm going to actually give you an address to a house, because this deal that I found today is absolutely incredible. And I've only got 1/3 of the price of this house in my savings account. 1/3. If I had the full amount to go and buy this house, I would buy it tomorrow, because today's Sunday. I'd go and buy it tomorrow. And I would do the work on it myself, and I'd flip it, because it's a very cute house. And it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, like our house. That's what ours is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. And it's out in the country all by itself, on a dead-end road with 15 acres of land, a little over 15 acres. It's 15.9 acres of land. You want to talk about a beautiful homestead? Here is a picture of the house right here, before the bank put plywood over the windows and doors to keep people out, squatters. This place is out in the country. A cute little 2-bedroom, 1-bath house on over 15 acres of land, and it's a foreclosure for only $31,700. And here is the address, because I want you guys to go on Google Earth and look at this cute little property on a dead-end road that has grape vineyards across the road from it. The address to this house is 8516 East, just E, not the word East, just E, East Forest Ave, Westfield, New York. 8516 East Forest Ave, Westfield, New York, on a dead end, over 15 acres of land. And it's a cute little house. It's great bones. The foundation looks good. The roof looks good. The porch looks like it was added on not too long ago, because the steps are still bright and pressure treated. Cute little house. Around here, the banks will board up a house just to keep people out. That doesn't mean it doesn't have windows. It doesn't mean it doesn't have doors. They just do this to keep people out. You give the bank what is left owed on this property, and look at what a beautiful little homestead you'd have for under $32,000. Where in the hell, you guys, can you buy a house on a dead end with over 15 acres of land for that little amount of money? Here is another one that I found for under $100,000. And this sits on 1 acre of land, and it's a cute little ranch in a nice area. And both of these homes are out in the country and in a really good area that is close to good schools, shopping, jobs, you name it. They're all right there. And yet these properties sit out by themselves for cheap prices. So when these kids go on TikTok, and then these YouTubers make videos out of these TikTok postings, and it's one young kid after another, both boys and girls, these young kids saying, we can't afford today. We can't afford society today. We can't afford to live. You guys, there are deals out there to be had, even in this economy and even in this housing market. You can find great deals. If I had the money to buy that little house that's in foreclosure, I would buy it. I'd pry off the plywood, and I would start rehabbing the house, whatever it needed. If it needed new floors, new cabinets, new countertops, new plumbing, whatever it needed, I'd rehab this house. I'd mow the lawn really, really nice. I'd get everything all cleaned up and looking good, because it already looks good. The property isn't all overgrown. It's not a mess. The property is all level. All 15.9 acres is all level. The back property you could lease to farmers and let them do their crops every year. That would bring you an income. You could grow a nice garden out in the yard by the house. You could put up a clothesline. You could have chickens. You could raise animals on property that big. You could make one hell of a homestead out of this cute little house that is under $32,000. You pay the bank what they want. You take possession of the property and you get to work. When you're done just doing minor things, that property could be turned around and flipped for a hell of a price. Because people want property that have a lot of land. They want property that's out in the country, and being that it's on a dead-end road, there's no through traffic because it's right at the end of the dead end. It would be a very quiet, peaceful place to live. And I'm telling you right now, if I had that money, I'd go buy it. I'd absolutely go buy it. But I've only got 1/3 the price. But that's why I keep saving, because when the day comes to when I can snatch up a foreclosure like this and purchase it, this is how people become a self-made millionaires, because you buy up properties on the cheap. But you got to know what you're doing. You got to make sure that you're getting something that's still got a good foundation, something that's got good bones, good structure, and you just got to be smart about it. You got to make sure that the well and the septic are decent. And as long as you've got something to start with, because they are out there and you have something to start with, you then could start your way on owning and flipping property and making one hell of a living for yourself. So by the time you retire, you could retire very well, very well. So when the kids out there say that there's homes out there that are unaffordable, no, there isn't. There's a lot of homes right here in just my county in Western New York, you guys, that are under $100,000, a bunch of them. Some of them even all the way down to only $10,000 for a house. And these kids say that they cannot get into their first home as a first-time homeowner. It's because they're not willing to move to other states throughout the United States, because there's deals to be had all across this nation. But you have to be willing to move where you can afford a house and start to live. And if you say, well, Kevin, maybe the job they're in isn't available there. Well, there's a lot of kids that are already on TikTok and already on YouTube. And instead of complaining about what they can't afford, why don't they just make their channels into a living to where Google AdSense will pay them an income like they do me every single month, and let that pay for your property. Now you can go off and get any job you want anywhere within the area of where that house is and start over. You got to be willing to start a new life somewhere if you want to make it, because if you're in California and you say you can't afford to buy a house, then leave California. It's that simple. You got to get out of where you can't afford to live. And people always say how expensive New York is. Yeah, New York City. New York State is cheap. The taxes we pay here are cheap on this 6 acres with a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Very, very cheap. These taxes per year are way less than what I used to pay per month in rent. So when people say it can't be done, yes, it can. Go look at this house and tell me that this house isn't a deal, because it's a cute little house and it's got great bones. It looks like it's in great shape and it's on beautiful property, surrounded by hardwoods, pine trees, on a dead end with vineyards across the road from it. I mean, come on, you guys. Who wouldn't want to have a little house like that? This is just an example of how these kids just don't know what they're doing. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again in the next one. Bye-bye.